Jonathan Rea might be about to relinquish the 2021 world title to Toprak Razgatlıoğlu at the end of a run of 6 consecutive seasons, but he is demonstrating just why he's taken all those titles. It's back-to-back victory. Driving rain, they're underway. Good start from Andrea Locatelli, good start as well from Garrett Gerloff. Jonathan Rea almost asleep off the line by comparison. Cutting through is Axel Bassani. Michael Ruben Rinaldi making good progress from way back down the order. Rea recovering as they come in towards turn number 1. Locatelli running wide, drops to 3rd. Garrett Gerloff also losing out around the first couple of corners, just as he did in race 1 earlier on today. Razgatlıoğlu it is then who leads. It's Scott Redding back up into 2nd position. Jonathan Rea into 3rd. Then it's Locatelli versus Axel Bassani, and Tati Mercado with a great start. Mercado is up ahead of the BMW boys as Bassani comes firing through on Locatelli and up into 4th place. So further back down the order, watch out for Michael Ruben Rinaldi as well. He's up into P9, and Kota Nazane also up inside the top 10. Just demonstrates what a struggle it's been so far for Garrett Gerloff. Scott Redding eyeing up a move here on Toprak Razgatlıoğlu. Bassani thinking about a move on the riders ahead of him. He's going to let them fight it out among themselves instead. Rea comes through on Redding into turn 10. Razgatlıoğlu off the line. Bassani almost cuts through on Redding. Again, they're almost 4 abreast as they come in towards turn 11. Razgatlıoğlu hanging on, but by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, the run down into 10, 4 abreast. You can see for Jonathan Rea attacking there on Toprak. Not quite close enough to be able to make that move, but wanting to attack at this stage. He's feeling pretty confident out there, willing to get himself to the front of the field. Obviously, if you're at the front of the field, you don't have to deal with any of the spray as well. It'll be kicked up, but it is up to you then to dictate the pace of the group.
Top 4 per all. Big moment there for Jonathan Rea as they come through turns 13 and 14. He manages to recover into the path of Scott Redding. It opens the door to Axel Bassani. The top 4 from race 1 earlier on today are doing battle again at the head of the field in race 2. Rea comes through on Razgatlıoğlu, who'd opened the door, touches the curb momentarily in a big slide there as he makes his way coming off turn 16. Rea, Razgatlıoğlu, Redding, Bassani is your new order. Talked all day about Tati Mercado being a wet weather specialist. He's going with Michael van der Mark as the pair of them try to close back in on that lead quartet. Then there's a bit of a gap behind the number 36 as Razgatlıoğlu fires through at the start of lap 2. Rea will immediately respond. It's the fighting we've been seeing all season, but never in conditions like this.
Yeah, a few riders making really good starts to this race. Kota Nazane as well, coming from the back row of the grid into the top 10, and the Japanese rider, he goes well in wet conditions. We saw that earlier in the season. He's made a great start to this race. He's right behind Andrea Locatelli, but like you said, Alex, Tati Mercado once again in wet conditions, he's really excelling. Michael van der Mark as well in that number 60. He's been able to bridge a lot of those gaps.
Tati Mercado, 6th position, is as good as he has ever finished. Jonathan Rea out in front. Razgatlıoğlu 2nd. There is Mercado, currently sits in 6th position. He's dropping back off the tail of Michael van der Mark on this lap, but that's because van der Mark is the man making the progress at the moment. He's cut the gap to half of what it was at the start of the lap. He is now within a second of the race leader, Jonathan Rea. Rea, Razgatlıoğlu, Redding, Bassani and van der Mark right with them.
Yeah, and for van der Mark, always goes well in these conditions. Toprak tries to take the race lead.
Toprak Razgatlıoğlu through in towards turn 12. Jonathan Rea tries to stick it out around the outside and eventually gives best as Razgatlıoğlu recovers the lead, and Scott Redding also here with an opportunity to pounce. Razgatlıoğlu not afraid of these damp conditions. You suspected that would be the case.
Yeah, Toprak doing a really good job in these conditions, considering wet weather had been one of the weaknesses for him, but he looks pretty strong at this stage, willing to make those moves. Obviously Jonathan Rea back into the race lead now.
And here comes Scott Redding on the inside of Razgatlıoğlu, so Scott Redding might go from 3rd to 1st here. Looks to have more confidence at this stage of the race. Rea covers the inside line as they come through turn 17 to complete lap number 2. It's now Rea, Redding, Razgatlıoğlu, Bassani and van der Mark. Van der Mark now within striking distance. Fastest man out of that lead quintet last time around. A 1:46 flat compared to a 1:46.7 for Jonathan Rea, the race leader. So van der Mark's got a lot of confidence in that BMW package underneath him. Redding also looking good at this stage. Got right onto the tail of Jonathan Rea. Couldn't quite find his way through last time around.
Yeah, and you can see at the back of this group, van der Mark on that white BMW trying to get through an Axel Bassani. You can see that the group is starting to splinter ever so slightly. So van der Mark, he needs to make that move on Bassani quickly.
Tati Mercado broadly going with the group. A second the gap in front of him though, 2.5 seconds though behind to Andrea Locatelli. So at best we got a top 6 covered by 2 seconds, or you could look at it as a top 5 covered by just 7/10, nose to tail. And any time someone runs slightly off the line or makes a slight error or is slightly tentative, they're going to be swallowed up by the pack here. Scott Redding proving that as they come in towards turn 10. Jonathan Rea wants to get it stopped, can't get it stopped, finally gets it turned and squares it back up the inside of Redding nicely to recover the lead. lead as they come through turns 11 and 12. Well, this, ladies and gentlemen, was certainly worth waiting for. Coming in now to turn 12, Redding response.
Yeah, Scott's always very strong in wet conditions. It looks like Jonathan Ray was going to try and attack him back. Ray not able to do it at this stage, but down in towards the last corner, you'd certainly expect to see him try and make another move.
How long before Michael van der Mark makes a strike on Axel Bassani for 4th position? All 5 of these riders still very much podium contenders. And Tassi Mercado will just want to hang on in there, see if he can make up ground as they begin to scrap with one another. Is that Mercado? Mercado from 6th position falls as they make their way into the final sector. That's devastation for Mercado. 6th as good as he's ever finished in the Superbike World Championship. That's where he sat, but his MIE Honda goes tumbling into the gravel trap through turn 14.
Yeah, 6th position and 10 points goes a begging for Taddy Mercado. It's been a strong end to the season for him and the MIE Honda team, but it ends in a bit of a disappointment there for him in the gravel trap.
Into lap 4, Razgatlıoğlu through on Ray here for 2nd position. Scott Redding is taking this as an opportunity to burst away out in front. 1:45.301 last time around. Ray recovers 2nd position. Still not losing too much ground though to Scott Redding out in front.
Yeah, and Redding always very strong in wet conditions. This is one of those conditions as well, one of those types of conditions that having a little bit more size can really help Scott Redding, and certainly he's got that little bit more leverage of being one of the tallest riders on the grid.
Still just over a second covering this lead quintet. Kota Nozano's just moved through on Andrea Locatelli for 7th position. Nozano's previous best just 9th, so a real opportunity for him to make a name for himself in wet conditions as Jonathan Ray goes soaring around the outside of Scott Redding on the exit of turn 9. So Ray desperate to lead from the front. He will be the first to encounter any changing conditions as the rain continues to come down here at the Mandalika International Circuit. Scott Redding into 2nd place, Razgatlıoğlu 3rd. Redding now is going to be the next to think about a move as they come through turn 12.
Yeah, if you've ever got any questions about how good the riders are at top world class action, you're getting it right now. This is the first time they've ever been around this track in wet conditions.
On to ever increasing heights. Ray close enough as they make their way through 7, 8 and 9. It's going to be the run in towards turn 10. Only for the brave that Jonathan Ray might see as his best opportunity to get through on Redding. He gets a decent run coming off turn 9. Into braking now for turn 10. Squirreling and snaking his way to the inside line for the 10th turn. Redding tries to turn. Ray is already there. The pair touch. Ray then sweeps across the path of Scott Redding coming off turn 10 to recover the lead.
Yeah, Jonathan Ray able to make the move into 10. Scott Redding's going to try and attack straight back. He wouldn't have liked that move from Ray at all. And for Scott Redding, it's going to be down into turn 15. That's going to be that chance. He's got good drive through there though to get right with Ray.
Scott Redding did leave the door open. It was wide enough for Jonathan Ray to squeeze past. Redding trying to turn back across the path of Ray, who was already there. Jonathan Ray it is who leads the way. Michael Ruben Rinaldi, according to our timing screens, has just crashed out on the circuit. We haven't seen any further information about that, but focus on the lead battle. Redding through on Ray. Has he overcooked it? Yes, he has. Ray's got the cutback coming through turn 16. Jonathan Ray might be about to relinquish the 2021 world title to Toprak Razgatlıoğlu at the end of a run of 6 consecutive seasons, but he is demonstrating just why he's taken all those titles. It's back-to-back victory.